Hello, folks. Welcome to the Genuinely Interested podcast. My name is Roy Bensby, and I'm your host. This week, I have Matteo Franceschetti, and I hope I pronounced that right. On the podcast, I got it right. I hope I got it right this time as well, because apparently I just have a record of butchering foreign names. It's a gift, really. It's a gift. So Matteo was kind enough to come on the podcast and talk sleep. The reason he is so proficient in sleep is because he is the founder of 8 Sleep. And it's not a mattress company. What it is, it's an athletic sleep company. And what they do is collect data on your sleep to optimize the best sleep possible. And unlike other mattress companies out there who are just a mattress company, they are in the athletic sleep, athletic optimization business. And they basically want to create the best sleep possible by using data. Collecting, is it better for you to sleep on your left or on your right side? Do you like it hotter? Do you like it colder? And there's also the possibility of having one side be hotter, one side be colder. There's all these things that you can play around that no other bed affords you. And I thought it was absolutely amazing. Some of the things he mentioned about sleep, how important it is for your day to day, for your athletic recovery, for your athletic performance. All these things I just never really put together. I always figured nutrition, exercise, hydration. I figured those are the key things. And sleep was never in the equation for some reason. Only recently I started looking into it. And apparently my sleep has been shit. I just am not sleeping properly. And he gave so many good tips for naps, for better sleep. And obviously the mattress gives you all the data. And, as you use it more, you get more and more data. That way you optimize the best sleep possible. I think in the mattress space right now, there are so many different mattresses. So I think it's great how they position themselves as a athletic sleep company. It makes so much more sense, and that's essentially what they're doing. And it would be interesting to see how they develop with time, what new functions they come out with, because I really think the sky's the limit with this space. So yeah, I had a lot of fun, and I learned a lot of things about sleep during this podcast that are extremely helpful. And if you want those tips, make sure to listen to the whole podcast. There was one or two sketchy connectivity issues that we had once or twice, but other than that, it was pretty smooth. These things happen with the internet. There's not much we can do, but overall, it was pretty smooth. So I hope you enjoy this week's podcast. I hope you learn, and I hope you implement these tricks and these tools in your sleep. So without further ado, here is this week's guest, Matteo.
The Genuinely Interested Podcast.
Hey, Matteo, how are you doing?
Very good, very good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Let me see if I get this correct or if I'm going to butcher it. Franceschetti?
Wow, man, you're really good. Yeah, and you didn't even ask me before, so you just nailed it. So congrats.
Yeah. I just literally read it exactly as it's written. So I'm glad I got it. Yeah, man. So yeah, like I said, I'm happy to have you on the podcast. Sleep is something that's been interesting me for quite a while. So I'm happy to have someone from the industry to talk to and can maybe give us a little bit more insight. But maybe first, let's talk about you a little bit. Where are you from? What's your background?
Yeah, so I'm Italian, as you probably can guess from my funny accent, and I have been an athlete when I was a teenager all my life. I was doing ski races, and then I played tennis and at Italian and European in Italian and European competition. And then I also raced with cars. I love motorsport, and
Oh, wow.
so I did quite a lot of that. So since when I was a kid, I always really took care of my health. Then I had a phase where I became a lawyer for two very large law firms. And but finally, I was able to get out of that and become an entrepreneur. I had two companies in solar, in renewable energy, and then finally I could dedicate to my passion, that is really health in general. And in health, I decided to pick sleep, which is the main purpose of 8Sleep.
Wow. Okay. So a lot to unpack there. So you're saying you raced cars professionally, or it was just amateur?
It was amateur. It was Italian and European level. I had the opportunity to race with some very good drivers. Some of those are also in F1 today. But yeah, on my side, I was always a gentleman driver.
So what would you say is the limit? What's the max of speed that you reached?
So a year and a half ago, I finished third at the 12 hours of Abu Dhabi. And there I was racing with the GT car, and it's the same track of F1. And I think we were around 180 miles per hour, 180 miles per hour.
180 miles?
Yeah,
That's
at the
what?
end.
That's 200 and that's close to 300 kilometers, maybe?
Yeah.
Wow. Jesus, that's that's frightening at that speed. Wow. Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it was for 12 hours. Obviously, you have you have other drivers with you, and you switch. We were 4 drivers, and we finished third. So it was really, really exciting.
Wow, that's awesome, man. So you said for a while you worked in solar and renewable energy. What got you to make that shift, doing that, and then eventually starting your own company?
So I started with solar because I had a lot of expertise in project finance coming from these very large law firms, and it was a great moment in Europe and in Italy for this new technology. And so I saw an opportunity, and with another co-founder, we started the company, and we sold the first company, and then we started the second, and then sold that as well. But I always wanted to get into technology as we know it in Silicon Valley. And so I had this opportunity really after my second solar company. I'm really proud of that experience because both of the health and renewable energy, I truly believe in the impact that both these two things can do for people and for the world. And so I think I'm grateful I had the opportunity to first explore the technology in the right years when there was a lot of growth. And now I can focus on another aspect of lives that I really care about.
That's pretty cool because a lot of people, obviously solar, renewable, that's the future. So I think a lot of people, when they go into those industries, they tend to stay in those industries, right? But for you, that was kind of a segue into starting your own thing. And did you come to New York first and start the company, or did you have in mind, like, I want to start this company in New York, and you came to New York for that specific reason?
So I started my first company in Europe. We were based in Milan. And after we sold that, we replicated substantially the same business model, but in the US. We found a partner in the US, and we co-founded the company here with him. And after that exit is when I started 8Sleep. And I started 8Sleep with new co-founders that are my current ones. And that is how everything started. But I was already in New York because the second company was already in New York. And so as I started the third, I was already in New York. And so it was making sense to be here.
And how did that, I'm also an immigrant. I came to the US 8 years ago, and I was just interesting for you. How was that transition coming over from Italy to New York?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, I mean, first of all, the Americans and people in the US have always been really, really welcome with me. And I was really lucky. So, on that side, it was much easier than what you could expect, and probably of how you would be received in Italy, maybe. Um, I think there was a couple of challenges in switching for me. So first, I switched from doing tech renewable in Europe to the US, and so I really had to build again my network. And then I built this new network in renewable in the US, and then I switched to health and really Silicon Valley tech space. And so in each of these three areas, I almost had to start from scratch. I had no contacts, no one knew me, I had no reputation, and obviously it takes time, right, to build a reputation and to build relationships and be trusted. Hopefully now I will stay around in tech, and I can leverage what I have done with 8Sleep.
Yeah. So let's talk about 8Sleep a little bit. I mean, I've looked into it. It looks like pretty amazing company. It seems like, and look, it's crazy because ever since I've been researching 8Sleep, the amount of ads for mattress companies that I get on every single platform that I have, it's unbelievable. I had no idea that there were so many mattress companies. And I think if you were to 10 years ago, selling mattresses D2C didn't exist. And then Casper came along, and it seems like now the only way to sell mattresses is D2C. But you guys are doing it completely different. Can you maybe, explain and elaborate a little bit?
Yeah. So our hero product is the Pod, right, which is a smart mattress. The reality is we have the form factor of a mattress, but the value that we deliver to our customers and our mission are very different from the one of a mattress company. And the reason is simple. Our vision is based on two pillars. The first one is, what if you could sleep only 6 hours and get more rest than when you were sleeping 8 hours? How can we use technology to improve your sleep performance? That is pillar number one. The second pillar is about health, meaning you still use your bed every single day for 6 to 8 hours. We want to transform your bed in a health platform so that going to bed is more valuable than going to your doctor for a health checkup. So these are the two North Stars: improving your sleep performance, monitoring your health seamlessly every single day. The mattress itself is just a form factor, is a product that you would buy and use no matter what. And so it fits perfectly with our vision and is a market that makes financial sense. But the real game changer is the technology and the machine learning and the engineering that is behind all that we do.
So you're how do you position yourself? You're not a mattress company, you're a sleep company?
Yeah, exactly. We define ourselves as a sleep fitness company. We think of sleep as a part of fitness. And the reason is, while you are sleeping, your body is still working, it's recovering, and is preparing for the following day. And so we want to be this sleep fitness company that takes care of you during a third of your life.
So you guys obviously monitor, not directly, but there's a monitoring of sleep, and you get all the data. I mean, you're essentially gathering some of the best sleep data in the world right now, right? I mean, in a few years, you would probably be, I don't know if maybe you are now, but definitely in a few years, you're going to be the leader as far as data. I mean, do scientists reach out to you now and try to work with you?
Yeah. We are running clinical studies in order to improve and validate the accuracy of our data. And then we use these clinical studies to train our algos and improve them. And we track on one side, obviously, sleep, right, which is pretty obvious. But we are also able to track some of your core biometrics, like in particular heart rate, HRV, and respiration, which means snoring and potentially sleep apnea. So in the future, your bed, if you buy a pod, the pod will be able to monitor your biometrics on a daily basis and let you know if there is anything wrong, not only in your sleep, but also maybe in your heart rate or maybe in your respiration. There is where we are going. At that point, we would notify you immediately if we see anything that is unexpected.
Oh, wow. That's really futuristic. So, wait, what is HRV?
HRV is heart rate variability. So is a metric connected to your heart rate and is indicative of how much you are recovering. So let's say that today you go out and you work out really hard. Tomorrow, your HRV will have a certain value. And based on that value, we can tell you if you should rest or if you can work out again. In that way, we will make things easier for you. We will make sure that you avoid injuries and that you always calibrate and measure the amount of workout based on what your body is telling you.
Wow. That's pretty revolutionary. I mean, a mattress that can tell you so much information about how you should be working out. I personally never put the two together. I always thought, hydration, stretching, proper diet, those are like the key elements to be a better athlete. And I never thought about sleep as a key component.
It is fundamental. If you trust me, if you don't sleep or if you don't sleep well, your recovery will be much slower, and at that point, the chances that you can have an injury are much higher. Or even as simple as the following day you just shouldn't train or you shouldn't train that hard because your body needs rest. And one of the best metrics to understand if you need rest is heart rate variability.
Is this like stuff is this scientific data that's coming out now where they're saying that sleep, are you seeing, let's say, top athletes, top of the food chain athletes, basketball, MMA, whatever it is, and are they putting more focus on sleep than they were before?
Yeah, absolutely. So sleep obviously is a core element. Or if you think of health is really based on three pillars. One is sleep, one is nutrition, and one is fitness, workout, however you want to call it, right? And so these are the three pillars, but sleep is really the foundation of the three, because if you don't sleep, you don't train because you're tired and you just get injured. Or if you don't sleep, you start craving carbs or sugar and you tend to overeat. And so it becomes really hard to follow your diet. So it's becoming pretty clear to trainers and athletes the importance of sleep. And then now there are a lot of clinical studies and researches that prove the value of sleep, and also the fact that metrics like heart rate variability are indicative of the recovery of your body.
So is the HRV, is that one of the key metrics that you use when you, because you record the quality of sleep, is that one of the key metrics or are there others?
There are others. So HRV is not connected, is not indicative of how well you slept. HRV is a consequence of how much you recover while asleep. And so if you sleep bad, you don't recover well. If you sleep well, you recover well. For sleep, what we track is obviously sleep stages, sleep quality, toss and turns, number of hours that you slept. On top of sleep, we track everything for your heart rate, in particular heart rate at rest and HRV, which is heart rate variability. And then we also track your respiration. And so how many times you breathe per minute. And in the near future, we will be able to see snoring. And potentially in the future, we will also see sleep apnea.
Oh, that's amazing that we can get to that spot. When I was in the Army, and for us, 6 hours was you have to have 6 hours. Like even if you had 5 hours and 50, the captain would be like, okay, go sleep for 10 minutes because by law you have to have 6 hours. And then when I left the army here, like in the US, everyone always told me, because I just kind of kept sleeping 6 hours. That's what I was used to. But here everyone told me you have to sleep 8 hours. But and I'm still good with 6. I try to sleep maybe closer to 7. But what you're saying essentially is it's better to have a deep, let's say 5 or 6 hours sleep than an 8 hour sleep that's maybe not as deep.
No, so you should try to sleep between 7 and 9 hours every night.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's really important. There are a lot of biological effects and impacts that you get from sleep, right? You have, in particular, deep sleep that is extremely important for your physical body, and then you have a REM that is more important for your mind. Again, you need to sleep between 7 and 9, and my advice is also to adjust, meaning it's not that 7 is always correct or 8 is always correct or 9 is always correct. Sometimes if you feel tired, if you feel you're not recovering, try to sleep for longer. Try to take even a full week where you sleep 9 hours per day, and then monitor how you feel. That is going to be better than a vacation, right? Sometimes people just think, oh, I need to go on vacation, I'm really tired. If you can't, just try to sleep an hour more per day, because that is 7 hours more in a week, which means sleeping one more night, So the impact of that is meaningful. Then as you sleep 7, 8, or 9 hours, the quality of sleep can be very different. And then there are a lot of different tricks or things that you can try to do in order to optimize your sleep quality.
You touched on REM sleep. Can you maybe explain to people that don't know what REM sleep is, and then the difference between REM versus non-REM sleep?
Yeah, oversimplified REM is when you dream, and oversimplified is the time that your brain uses to repackage the information from the day and put this information into your storage, mental storage, into your brain. And so the first part of the night is usually dedicated by the body to deep sleep. And deep sleep is the moment for the physical body to recover. And the second part of the night is when instead you have the REM phase. And that is maybe why sometimes you wake up in the early morning and you were just having a dream because you were in REM phase. REM phase, the interesting thing is when you are in REM, your body does not move at all. And so there is a function inside your body where you stand still as you are in REM because you are dreaming. And the body does not want you to move, let's say, your arms or your legs accordingly to the dream, because that would be dangerous. And so from a data perspective, the REM phase is the one where the person is completely locked in a one single position in bed and is not moving at all. While instead in deep, you might be moving. In light sleep, you might be moving.
So that's optimal sleep. That's when you're completely entrenched in whatever dream you're having. You're not moving. That's the best. I mean, that's the best sleep essentially.
Yeah, usually you should imagine that 20% of your sleep should be deep, and around 20% oversimplified should be REM, and the rest one is light sleep.
But that's something like, if you don't have this bed, there's no way for you to know. Like, I have no idea how I'm sleeping, but you guys give us the data and then we can know.
Yeah, so we give you the data about your sleep, and so you can monitor that. And that is one key thing. The other one is one of the biggest factors impacting the quality of your sleep is temperature, right? So people can feel hot or cold. Different partners have different preferences. And the right temperature for your body is not the same during the night. because your core body temperature changes during the night. And so our technology can heat or cool each side of the bed and can adjust the temperature based on the different moments of the night. In that way, we optimize your sleep quality and we make sure that you always sleep at the perfect temperature to maximize your sleep.
And the cooling and heating system, is that based on water?
Yeah, is an hydro system, so it uses water that circulates. You don't feel it, you don't hear it, but there is water circulating, and it can change the temperature of each side of the bed from 55 degrees to over 100 degrees.
That's hot. And have you found any differences between how men like to sleep versus how women like to sleep? If there are any differences? I'm assuming there are, because me and my wife, we sleep very differently.
Yeah, I mean, temperature is very different. So women tend to feel colder, while instead men tends to feel warmer. And so usually men are looking for cooling and women are looking for heating. Obviously, it depends on the season. But yeah, I mean, based on your gender, based on your age, based on your body, the temperature needs are really different.
Wow. So you could essentially have your side of the bed cooler and your wife's side of the bed a little warmer.
Exactly.
That's a game changer. I don't think that, as far as I know, that doesn't exist out there. And that's again, that's something that I believe most couples go through. You know, the turn on the AC, turn off the AC, give me the comforter, move the comforter away. So this completely pretty much solves that.
Exactly. And so on one side, we solve a problem about comfort, right? What you just described. On the other side, by making these changes, these temperature changes, we can optimize the quality of your sleep. And there are clinical studies that are mentioned in different books, including Why We Sleep, that prove that through cooling or through temperature regulation, you can fall asleep faster and you can stay for longer in deep sleep.
How do you feel about naps?
I love naps. I think naps are a superpower. So during the day, you develop. So there is adenosine that goes into your brain, right? And so taking naps helps to reduce the pressure from the adenosine and make sure that you perform from a cognitive standpoint at your peak for longer during the day. So my recommendation is to do very short naps, 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, um, and doing obviously once per day, but as many days as possible. It's something that has been proven to work on your daily cognitive performance, but is also really beneficial for your longevity.
Yeah, because I always hear entrepreneur athletes, all these different celebrities, and they're talking about, oh, I have a dip. I used to have a dip around like 2 or 3 or 4 p.m. And now I'm taking XYZ. I'm taking this powder. I'm taking this drink, this smoothie, this food. And now I have energy throughout the day and I don't have that dip anymore. And I don't need to take a nap. But for me, like, when especially now, I feel like working from home more. There's that need like midday to just get like a quick 20, 30-minute nap. And I wake up, I'm a completely different person. Like I don't see a problem with taking that 20, 30-minute nap. On the contrary, I think it's much better.
Absolutely. And here are a couple of tips for that. So the first is don't nap for longer than 20, 30 minutes because you risk to get into deep sleep or potentially REM. And so then when you wake up, you feel groggy. So you need to keep it really short. Second is you could have a coffee, an espresso right before the nap because the espresso will kick in 30 minutes later. And so by the time you wake up, you're not just waking up from your nap, but you also have the espresso and the coffee kicking in and giving you extra energy.
Well, that's a biohack. Good one.
Is a biohack. And so that is what I usually tend to do. And it works really well for me.
Wow. Okay. So 20, 30-minute nap, coffee before you take the nap. Okay. I'll try that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do you have, so go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, like, do you have some sort of, not a schedule, but things that you do before you go to sleep each night just to optimize sleep?
Yeah. So I do a bunch of different things. So first, I tend to do a shower where I alternate between heat and cold water. So you do 30 seconds heat, 30 seconds cold, and you do that 5 to 10 times. That has a lot of different benefits on your blood circulation and on your health. Another thing I do is I take magnesium. Magnesium helps to relax your muscles. And so I take it 30 minutes, an hour before going to bed. Mm-hmm. Certain nights I take melatonin. It helps me relax. I could take a pill of melatonin, or now there are also some chamomiles that they come with melatonin that are really good. Between an hour and 2 hours before going to bed, my lights at home adjust automatically and they become orange lights. And then the 30 minutes before going to bed, I try to already be in a really dark place. And then I use Normatec boots, are these special boots that you wear, and they're called compression boots. And they help me relax my legs before going to bed. And they work extremely well, in particular for me, because I have what is called restless legs syndrome. And so it helps my legs to relax so that I can sleep better during the night. And then obviously my bed is always at the right temperature. So it will change temperature 4 times during the night, the bed, in order to maximize my sleep performance.
Wow. So those boots, are those like big ones? I see a lot of athletes have them as well, right? It's like it's filled with air or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen exactly those. Yeah,
I've seen them. So, I mean, where did this passion for sleep come from? You seem to know a whole lot about sleep. And again, like I said, most athletes don't really think of sleep too much, but you kind of thought outside the box and like, okay, let me see how much of a factor sleep is in this whole calculation. How did that come about?
Yeah, so if you are an athlete, the way you should think of sleep is not sleep as sleep, but sleep as a recovery, right? And so if you maximize your sleep, you're maximizing your recovery. If you recover well, your performance tomorrow will be better. That is something an athlete understands, right? So that is the moment for your body to maximize its own recovery. That's why sleep is important for any athlete, but everyday athlete, right? Even if you just go to the gym, tomorrow, you want to make sure that tonight you sleep well, so tomorrow you can have a solid workout. In my specific case, because I have always been an athlete, when I was young, I always had this passion. I always read a lot about health and recovery and longevity. And then when I really started looking into sleep, I really got passionate. And the reason why I got passionate is because I was surprised by the fact that there was no technology in 1/3 of our life. So Elon Musk is taking us to Mars. Elon Musk is building self-driving cars, and we have technology everywhere. But then we spend 1/3 of our life on a piece of dumb foam, hoping that our body will recover on its own. And so that was not making sense to me. And with my co-founders, we started looking at that, and we say, okay, how can we leverage technology to enhance the sleep? Because everyone does it and is 1/3 of our life.
I had the same realization when I went to Japan earlier this year, and I saw their toilets. and their toilets are amazing. And I was just like, wait, why are we using these stupid toilets that don't do anything? These toilets have so many different connections and water and sound and much cleaner. And it's one of those things where I just don't understand why we didn't implement this in the West. And I guess it's the same here, and I think that's what's great about entrepreneurs. They see these problems, these holes that the rest of society doesn't really see, and then they capitalize on them. So, yeah. I mean, as far as the mattress company, there are, like I said earlier, there's so many of them. How do you guys really stand out in that market?
I mean, we're really the only one with technology, right? And we're the only D2C company with technology in the beds. And I think our audience is understanding and appreciating that. It's really like if you start comparing a Tesla to any not traditional old school car. And it's also if you start comparing the DNA of Tesla and the ambition of Tesla to what any other car company has or could do, right? So we have a very different mission. We have a very different perspective about the future. And we are not about giving you a piece of dumb foam, but we are about developing a technology that can enhance your sleep. That's why we are a technology company and not a comfort company.
Let's see. Yeah, sorry, I lost you there for a second, but you're back. Yeah, that's interesting. And I think initially that's what it took me a second to realize, because I was like, oh, it's another mattress company. But then once you do the research and once you go on the website and you read about it, you're like, oh, okay, I see. This is completely different. This isn't just Purple or Casper or I don't know, Fluffy or Puffy or all these other uh, mattress companies out there. But originally, when you guys started, was this the idea? Because I know, I'm an entrepreneur myself, and I know that 9 times out of 10, the original idea is not what the final outcome is. Was there a different original idea, or was this the idea the whole way?
No, it was the idea the old way, and then like in any startup, it takes time to accomplish your vision. And so this for us is already product number 4. We already know what product 5 will be and what product 6 will be. And so one little step at a time, every year, we take our technology and our products one step further in achieving our product vision.
So are you going to be like the iPhone, where you release a new mattress each year that's going to be better than the one before?
Yeah.
Is that the goal?
Yeah. And the other uniqueness of our products is that you don't need to change the whole mattress. You can just upgrade the technology. So you buy the mattress once, and then as we release new technology, you can just buy that new piece of technology and install it on your bed. In this way, it's really efficient for our customers, and they're not pushed to change their mattress every year or every other year. They just buy the technology. Then another important thing to say is, so our hero product is the pod, and the pod is a whole smart mattress. But now we also sell the technology alone in a way to retrofit any mattress that you want. So if you don't want to change your mattress, but you still want to improve your sleep and buy our technology, at that point, you can just buy what we call the thermo cover, and you can retrofit your bed with our technology.
Okay, that's awesome. So essentially, you guys are, like I said, you're collecting all this data. And at this point already, do you have some tips on maybe what optimal sleep is? Like, do you guys know, should people be sleeping on, let's say, the left side or upside down or, whatever it is, right? No pillow, yes pillow, all these different things.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone is different and is different based on gender, age and body characteristics. We see an improvement in sleep without the pillow. We definitely see temperature being the biggest factor impacting the quality of your sleep. So you need to make sure that you sleep at the right temperature. And the temperature changes during the night. So sometimes you might hear, oh, you need to sleep at 68 degrees in the bedroom. That's not true. You need to sleep maybe at 68 degrees for a certain phase of your sleep, but not for others. And the reason is your body temperature changes. And so the bed and the environment, so the bedroom, they need to adjust their own temperature to your body needs. Then in terms of sleep position, that is it's really personal. The key thing is, in particular, if you are snoring or if you have sleep apnea, to make sure that you force yourself to sleep in a position where you alleviate the negative impact of snoring and sleep apnea, and so you facilitate your breathing.
I see. I mean, will the technology get to a point where it's, I don't know if it's AI or whatever the technology is, but it knows you so well where it adjusts based on the history of your sleep, based on body temperature, where let's say it sees that you cool down or you heat up, and it will just adjust accordingly?
Yeah, it will.
But that's not happening right now, right?
No, but it's not too far away. It's something that potentially we could build today. It's just a matter of priorities, because like any startup, you need to pick your battles. So we could build it today if we want. We are not, but we will build it tomorrow.
And I mean, do you think we're getting to a point where everything is going to be connected in the house? The mattress to the TV, to your phone, to the toothbrush, to the lights and windows and fan and Nespresso machine. We're going to have a point where it's all going to be on one app and all connected. Is that where we're going?
It's hard to say, meaning it has been a topic of discussion now for probably 5 years at least. I think the platform itself is your phone. Because if you think you already control so many things through your phone, I control my TV, I control my Philips Hue, I control my pod, I control my air conditioning. So the platform itself is really your phone, and there is where you define the settings of your life. And you can define the settings of your bedroom temperature through a Nest. You can set your temperature in the bed through the pod. You can set your lights. Everything is there.
Yeah, I feel like I'm always split in two. On the one hand, I do want more connectivity. I like the fact that I have all this control from my phone to control different things around the house. And whenever something cool comes out, like a Whoop strap or something, I'm like, oh, now I can collect all this data about myself and I know more. But on the other hand, I'm like, it feels invasive at times and I think that's always the battle with people. Like, they want all this data about themselves, but there's always this hesitation where these machines and algorithms that are eventually going to be all connected just know too much about me, and they're getting to a point where they know more about me than I know about myself.
I mean, health is really at not probably even 1.0. And the point is, we lived for centuries without knowing anything about our body. Now there are more and more devices that can give us real-time information about what is going on. So I use a CGM, a continuous glucose monitor, on my body, so I can monitor in real time my glucose levels after each meal. And through that, I discover certain type of, there are certain types of food that work well for my body, and others they don't. I use another startup to monitor my blood and my biomarkers almost on a monthly basis. And through that, I can see my vitamin levels, hormone levels, and many other things. then obviously my pod is tracking my sleep and my heart rate and my respiration every single day. I use an Apple Watch to monitor my fitness and calories and heart rate spikes. So now, in the near future, all these things will start now being aggregated. And you will start having full visibility of what is happening in your body in real time, and you will be notified if there is anything wrong or you're getting sick.
Yeah. Do you see maybe I don't know if this is data that you have from consumers, but I'm assuming guys tend to buy it because we love data, we love gadgets, we love to know these different things, and I think women probably would buy it just because they want to feel more comfortable and are less about the metrics and the data. But is that information that you get from consumers?
Yeah, I mean, 60% of the people buying are still couples for us, so it's still the majority. The person executing the purchase tends to be men. I think 80%. But yeah, we see traction with any gender because we respond to different needs through temperature. Everyone has temperature needs. And at the same time, I think we present the metrics in a easy to digest way that could work well for anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I saw, I was looking at some YouTube videos and I saw like unboxing and they were running through the app and it just looked very seamless, very user friendly and intuitive. And I guess on that point, what did you find as maybe the most useful as far as marketing? Has it been brand ambassadors, Instagram, unboxing videos on YouTube, or something else?
Yeah, I mean, look, anything that really that shows trust and can give you a sense of what is the product you're buying, help us. And that could be in an organic way, or it could be then also using some of these videos through, in our ads. I think people, before pulling the trigger on buying a product like ours, they want to have a certain degree of confidence. And so it's part of our job because we have so many customers that love us, to really leveraging their love and make sure that it's shared.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely right now. I'm in Connecticut because we left New York for a little bit, but I think as soon as we get back, we're in dire need of a new bed. So I was just talking to my wife yesterday, and I told her like we should look into this. This looks very interesting. So
absolutely,
as soon as we get back. So I know you have a policy of after 100 days, if you don't like it, you can return it. Do people actually return it, or does that rarely happen?
Yeah, I mean, a small number of people tend to return it. I think we're really happy with that number. So it's pretty low.
I'm sorry, what was that number?
Yeah, I didn't say what the number is, but it's a pretty good number. So we're really happy with that. And yeah, so we see no problems at all with that.
Okay. So, I mean, I know you have to go, you have a cutoff soon, but if there's one thing where you can tell people like the most important thing for you to get better sleep, what would that thing be?
There are two things that really matter for your sleep. First, sleeping at the right temperature. If you feel hot or cold, you will not fall asleep, or you will not get the sleep quality that you need. And second is try to be consistent. Try to go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time. The reason is by doing that, you will train your body to fall asleep and to wake up naturally in both cases. So your body needs to be trained. Just be consistent on the time to bed and the time to wake up, including during the weekends.
Okay, that's awesome, man. That's great tips. I learned, I think, a lot today. Sleep is not something it's not something I invested a lot of thought into for some reason. And it's only recently my brother-in-law, he started mentioning it because he tracks to sleep, and I started thinking about it, and it makes so much sense. It's just something I never really thought about. So I learned a lot today. I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time and explaining this to us. It's been really great.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we can do it in the future, and best of luck with everything.
Absolutely. And if you need a badge, just ping me, and I'll make sure we take care of you.
All right, Matteo. Thanks so much. Have a good one.
Bye.